Hi, and welcome to the weekly journal reading for Monday, November 4th, 2019. Now, this is a timeless reading, so it does not have to be Monday, November 4th, 2019 for you to get something out of this. Just know that we're looking at the next 7 days ahead of your life, okay? And we're looking for themes, the energy, the dynamics, hopefully make some predictions and see what the next 7 days has for you, okay? Alright, just wanted to let you guys know in this video we're using a standard Rider-Waite Tarot. We're using the Gilded Reverie Lenormand. We're using 2 decks by Denise Linn. One of them is the Sacred Traveler Oracle cards. Those are the purple ones. And the ones on top is the Sacred Destiny Oracle cards. And I want to go ahead and say thanks to a viewer named Greg who donated them to the channel. To donate anything to the channel, those links are in the description. Don't want to waste your time talking about it, but we do have an Amazon wish list with stuff that we would only use on the channel. And he also sent us some new markers, so we've got some new ways of marking which pile's which. That said, let's go ahead and get started and name the piles. Pile number 1 is the blue. Pile number 2 is yellow. Pile number 3 is green. Pile number 4 is red. Pile number 5 is purple. And pile number 6 is pink. So while you are making your selection, just want to go ahead and say anything you need to know about me is going to be in the video description. The timestamps for each reading is going to be in the video description. And as long as I'm around when it uploads, I'll make sure that I'll also leave a comment so that you can see the timestamps, right at the top of the comments. All right, so that said, let's go ahead and get started with pile number 1. If you have not picked, go ahead and pause the video right now. Okay. I'm really excited about these new cards. I've been working with them. They actually came last week. And the kinds of readings that I'm getting with them are very interesting and very, very accurate. All right, pile number 1. Those of you who picked the blue, here is your reading. Okay, so your tarot cards. We've got the Magician, the Hierophant, and Success. Looks like you're having a really good week this week, okay? We also have, so the first card is the Scythe. The second card is Health. Okay, and here's the theme. The theme is Blessings. And the advice card is Watching Clouds. So this is talking about lying back, rest, and relaxing, okay? I apologize, guys. My cat's making some noise and it's distracting me. I'm just going to be back in 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. We had to go ahead and make a cut because my cat would not leave the room in a quick amount of time the way I thought she would. Let's get back to your reading, though. Okay, so we've got the Magician and the Hierophant at first, and this is letting us know that this is going to be a pretty big week because we've got 2 major arcana cards. And the reason I say that is that, of all cards that you can get, what's most probable is going to be the pip cards, which are the 1 through 10. So when you get 2 major arcana cards, that lets us know that this is going to be a pretty big week, okay? The Magician, he's all about making things happen. And the Hierophant, he's kind of about making things happen too, but it's more in the community, okay? He can be associated with, or she, can be associated with school, with church, with initiation, and with spreading knowledge. But it's about going out and actually doing something, right? So we've got not only this ability you guys will have this week for manifestation, okay, and really making things happen that you want to make happen, but these things will affect the community. And then when you've got the Success card, it's letting you know that whatever it is that you're trying to manifest right now that will affect the community. And understand, a community doesn't have to be like a whole city, okay? A community can be just a group of 3 people. It could even be a group of 2 people, okay? And with the internet and everything around, there's all sorts of different kinds of communities communities too. So, you know, we could be talking about an online community like a forum or a Facebook group or something like that. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a community that is in, as people online say, IRL, right? You know, it could even be a YouTube video, right? So, and again, remember that this really great positive message is all talking about this theme this week, which is about blessings. You're going to feel very blessed this week, okay? So if you want, now I'm not going to, you know, encourage anybody to gamble or anything at all. Not at all. I would never do that. But it feels like things are working out real well for you, you know? So, maybe you would be lucky is what I'm saying. Okay. Here's something that does look, I mean, it looks like it could be negative, but I don't think that it is. Just because it's like things are being cut out, right? We've got the scythe, but the scythe, okay, when you read the Lenormand, you look at where the point is pointing. If it's pointing towards something, then that's what it's cutting out, right? But if it's pointing away and there's nothing to indicate what it's cutting, it's just talking about generally cutting things out that are hurting you, and we know that you're cutting out some negative behaviors or maybe negative people, or just you're cutting out negativity this week, and you're doing it and it's improving your health, because the tree represents your health, okay? The tree also, because of the way that its branches are, can also represent the brain. So it could even be that you're cutting things out so that for mental clarity, and so that you're able to think better, and you're more lighthearted. So again, you know, even though you've got all of this stuff going on for you, you're going to be really blessed this week. And so it's okay to relax, you know? I think sometimes when we, you know, go through the daily grind, and we've got, you know, for example, when I worked a regular 9 to 5, you know, that kind of stuff, it was so hard to just kind of relax sometimes, because I was always in that mode. But it feels like you're going to be getting things done, and you're going to be so successful with it that it's almost like going to feel like, well, I've been so productive today. Now I can take whatever time to do what I want and all of that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it really feels like a very balanced week. Actually, I'll take that back. Not balanced. It feels like a very good week. You don't have a whole lot of balance on the bad, but it feels balancing, is a better word, because it's like you're able to like kind of breathe and feel like you kind of are on top of things. Okay. I do want to mention that the 6 of Wands does indicate a little bit of passion and creativity. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the nature of this endeavor, because I really feel like the main message of this is going to be success, rather than the idea of wands being more fiery, okay? Because I'm not getting any other cards here that let me know that anything real fiery is going to happen, but I do want to mention that because I just thought, ooh, I need to mention that to you guys, all right? So yeah, you're going to be having a great week. I'm so glad. I'm so happy for you guys. Alrighty. Hi, those of you who picked the yellow, here is your reading. Okay, so we have the 7 of Swords, the 7 of Wands, and the 10 of Coins, or Pentacles, okay? For your Lenormand, we have the garden and the mice, okay? The mice describe the garden, okay? We also have, for your theme, we have change, okay? And for your advice card, we have unknown territory. I'm going to go ahead and put this right here so that you can see all of the cards. And we will go ahead and start with the tarot. Okay, so here's the deal with the tarot. So first off, you've got a lot of things going on this week, okay? You've got, you know, your thoughts, okay? With the swords, you've got your kind of fiery and your passionate and your creative energy, okay, there. And then you've also got the idea of material things, okay? It wouldn't be surprised if you're starting to prepare for the holidays, those of you who celebrate them, or maybe you're getting your finances in order, something like that. It just feels like but it feels positive here, okay? The thing about sevens, the sevens tends to be more about not only unknowns, which is kind of an interesting thing because you've got unknown territory here, because as you can see, you don't really know what's going to happen to this guy. He's snuck into the enemy camp. He's still stealing the swords. Is that going to be something that's going to be beneficial to him? Or is he maybe getting too happy and might be caught in the next, basically, frame of the movie, right? And here we have somebody that looks like they're kind of fending off something, but we don't see what they're attacking. We don't really see what is attacking him. You know, is there really even anything attacking him to begin with? And this one's a little bit more obvious. You know, you've got people at the marketplace exchanging money. There's abundance everywhere and all of that good stuff. Just want to kind of talk about the cards a little bit more. But yeah, it looks to me like the general feel of your week change, okay, is you're going to feel that things are changing. And I feel like it's a level up, you know, rather than a level down or moving sideways, you know. It just feels like you're kind of taking care of some things, but it's going to be a little bit tricky because you will be recognizing that there is a little bit of risk involved, okay? So as you're doing these things, just know that your thoughts are in the right place. Just don't get carried away with them. Okay, so this would be a good week for self-monitoring, making sure that what you're thinking is serving you. You know, if you're having some thoughts that aren't aligned with where you want to go, figure out where do I want to go and what can I think about to help myself get there, instead of thinking about things that, you know, for example, somebody who might want to go apply for a job, right? They might start thinking like, oh, but nobody's going to accept me, or, you know, all of this kind of stuff, and then they decide not to do it. You know, it's like if you want to apply for a job and you're thinking nobody's going to help me, then, you know, you're not going to get it done. But if you want to apply for a job and you're thinking, okay, well, why do I think nobody's going to accept me? Okay, well, maybe it's because I've been out of school for a long time and I stopped to raise my kids and now I want to get back in the workforce. So maybe I could focus on how a lot of my skills, you know, has to do with like handling kids, you know, and focus about that. You know, it's like your thoughts are really clear about what you're thinking about, but you've got to make sure you're staying on task. And as long as you direct them to do positive things, it will work for you. Okay. With, you know, I gotta say, and this is more of an intuitive reading of this card than it is necessarily the outright the outright meaning. For some of you guys, you might be feeling a little defensive in, I want to say your love life, but I think it's really just with your inner circle, okay? Because your inner circle can involve like whoever is really intimate with you. So it could be like somebody in your love life and your best friend, you know, that kind of thing. But it feels like you're feeling defensive, but it's like, I don't feel like they're doing anything that should cause that. It's just that like, these things are being a little bit misunderstood. So rely more on your thoughts, you know, when you're feeling like, ooh, I kind of feel like this person doesn't like me, you know, then go to your thoughts, go back to your thoughts and be like, well, do I have any reason to think that this person doesn't like me? Did they tell me that? You know, that kind of thing. And to try to kind of, help monitor your feelings as well. Okay. However, you know, in general, and this will apply to everybody who picked this pile, most likely, is that the card's coming up to let you know that feeling defensive, you know, is a part of life. You know, people feel defensive whether they think they're being attacked or not. You know, eventually a person's going to feel that way sometime in their life. This card just lets you know that usually when people get defensive, it's because there's some kind of mystery involved. And let me take that a step further. It's because of a misunderstanding, okay? Because most people aren't going to, you know, come up to you and be like, you know what, you totally suck. And mean it like that, you know? Most people aren't. You know, some people might, and that's really unfortunate. And I would tell you to get people like that out of your life, unless that's their sense of humor, or whatever. But it's like, most of the time when we feel defensive, it's because we hear somebody saying something that might be taken one way, and you don't know which way you're supposed to interpret it. And I'll give you an example from my own life. Just because it was something that I recently talked to Shannon about when I was in Australia visiting Shannon and you know, figuring out some great new things to do with this channel. We were practicing looking at each other because both of us have problems looking directly in other people's eyes when we're talking. So I was like, so, okay, let's practice and see, you know, what about it feels weird, and if we can, like, kind of figure out why we don't like this. So we were looking at each other, and it, like, almost immediately got really awkward. We were both really self-conscious about it and all of that, right? Well, you know, Shannon said to me, he was all like, they're just eyes, you know, and like that gave him permission to look away, right? And of course I was all like, oh, what do you mean? You know, and I pretended to slap him. I mean, like this, you know, I would never slap anybody. But yeah, it was one of those situations where he said something and then I got defensive immediately. That was my initial reaction, was like, what do you mean they're just eyes? They're my eyes. And if you like me, then you should like my eyes just because they're mine. You know, that kind of thing. It's like that, you know. He wasn't saying anything negative about my eyes. He was just uncomfortable and he needed to, you know, just disengage. You know, he needed to get that space again. You know, and honestly, I felt the same way. I didn't feel like looking at him in the eyes was just eyes, but I did feel very, very uncomfortable. So I understand where he was coming from. But that's what I'm talking about. It's like reading into what somebody's saying and being like, wait a minute, are they being dismissive of me? Are they saying something to hurt me or whatever? It's like, you know, no, that's silly. It's like, that's the way that I'm getting. It's like your inner circle. It's like the people that should know you might start saying some things or behaving in a certain way that makes you feel like, well, wait a minute. Did they mean it that way or that way? So do be aware that you're a little bit more sensitive for whatever reason this week, and that's where that's coming from. Getting the 10 of coins is great. It means that you are going to be on top of things financially. I would say that this is going to apply to you guys in two different ways, okay? For some of you guys, this is just indicating that you will be on top of finances and you'll be thinking about it and you'll be making some changes. Again, this is our card, change, to help increase your finances. That's going to be great. For the others who have picked this reading, it's just a reassurance that whatever you have changed recently, because I feel like some of this might be in the past, whatever you have changed recently is going to bring abundance this week, okay? So you'll immediately start feeling you know, how much potential you're reaching and how far it's going to go, basically, okay? Again, think about change. Here's something that's a really interesting combination of cards. Now, let me explain why I'm reading it this way. The mice take away, okay? There's all sorts of different ways to read the mice, okay? It can also talk about, you know, theft and stealing. It can also talk about disease and all of that. This is taking away, and we've got a physical, we've got the garden, which represents the public. This is going to mean one of two things again, okay? For some of you guys, you're just not going to be feeling like socializing as much, okay? And I'm also being told, like, intuitively that both of them could apply to a lot of the viewers too. And then for some of you, somebody's leaving, and maybe you're gonna go to some kind of event where they're saying that they're leaving, or maybe you're starting to feel the loss. And I don't feel like it's a death, although it could be. Please don't freak out, because it wouldn't be anything that would be abrupt. Because you know, yes, there's change there, but I'm not getting, like, you know, I'm not getting anything from this that makes me feel like there's going to be any kind of, like, major thing like that. We've got 3 cards, and they're all minor arcana, so we're not looking at a big week, okay? But it's like there's some kind of loss. Maybe somebody's moving away. Maybe you've been visiting somebody and they're going to become unavailable for the next week or something like that. But there's going to be some kind of loss in the public realm, okay? So one or the other will apply, and for some of you, both of them will apply, okay? And then we've got this unknown territory. So this is a really cool card because it is, well, I'm very comfortable with the unknown. Some people aren't. But it's a really cool card because this is your guidance card for the week, okay? You're exactly where you need to be. You might not know what's coming next, okay? And I know that, we've done this reading and we've, honed in on some, some things for you to look for this week. You might not know what's coming next, but you are right where you need to be, okay? So any changes, try not to resist the changes, try to go with the changes, because they're not there to hurt you. Sometimes, when things change, they get stressful, right? This isn't stressful change. This is there to help you. So you can, really just enjoy the fact that your life is changing for the better. You're getting more this week, okay? You're getting much more than you have been. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if some things start developing in your life that maybe you've been waiting for a while. Right, guys? That's a great reading. You guys will have a good week. All right. Hi, those of you who picked the green, the third pile. Here is your reading. We've got the 9 of Cups. We've got the 5 of Cups. No worries, okay? We'll get there. We've got the Moon. The overall message is forgiveness. Okay. This is the theme this week, okay, is forgiveness. This is your card for the week. All right. And we have the birds followed by the clover, okay? So this is positive, very positive. And then we've got in the flow, everything is smooth sailing, okay? So this is your guidance card. All right, guys. Let me just go ahead and start with this, because I'm sure that some of you who know the tarot are a little bit worried about this 5 of Cups, okay? We've got somebody, okay, in this particular card here, we've got somebody anticipating something positive from, in matters of the heart. And I don't mean necessarily romantic relationships, but in matters that have to do with your feeling centers, okay? Somebody's like kind of excited and built up and everything like that, okay? And then we've got that followed by the 5 where you've got, some of the cups have fallen over. One thing I really think is interesting about this card is that the person is focusing on what has been lost or the perception of whatever they don't have, while they're not focusing on what they do have, okay? So I think these two cards combined are telling you, especially with the Moon card coming next, are telling you that there's something you're not seeing that can make your emotions a lot more smooth than what they might feel like this week, okay? There's something hidden that's coming up, okay? It's okay to be excited, but know that you're probably not going to figure out what it is this week, but I can tell you that it is there. There is something there that you're not noticing or that you haven't quite figured out yet, and it is purposely being hidden from you, whether that is a divine guidance type thing where you're not supposed to know it yet, or it might be a person or several people that are kind of maybe keeping their feelings from you or something like that. But the Moon is usually about hiding things, and it feels right with this reading for you guys. I also want to mention though that when the Moon comes up, right after you've got something where, okay, something's hidden, and then you see the Moon, it's like it's almost like something's hidden, but it's like both of them together, like there's something hidden, but you could discover it this week if you put a lot of thought into it. Now, I'm not telling you to overdo yourself because it doesn't look like you're going to figure that out yet, but you can look at the theme right now, forgiveness, and try to figure out, is there something inside of yourself that you need to forgive? And it's kind of an odd way of looking at it, maybe because most people think about forgiveness and they think about forgiving other people, right? But if you look at your life and you look at other people's lives, most of the time, the biggest things that they need to forgive are themselves for some kind of slight or some kind of behavior they took that they just, I don't know, it just circles around, or they just keep coming to it. If only I didn't do this, or only I did this or that. I feel like the forgiveness is really talking about you, the viewer, forgiving something about yourself. And forgiveness is kind of a tough thing for me personally, okay? So I've done a lot of like, I've actually researched it, right? I mean, like, scientific journal researched it. And forgiveness isn't about saying that it's okay that that thing happened or whatever. It's the acknowledgement that you or the other person feels bad enough about that situation that they will change in the future, okay? Forgiveness isn't about saying, it's okay you did that. Forgiveness is about saying, that happened and I'm going to learn from that. Or that happened and I can see that you want to learn from that. You know, and eventually it will be okay that that happened, because hey, how are we going to learn if we don't have mistakes? I mean, that is like the number one way we learn. Okay, so whatever needs forgiving. I really feel like it's going to be you, the viewer. And I'm not even getting like, oh, like 80% of you need to look at yourself and like maybe 20% of you look at somebody else. No, I'm getting it like all of you guys. You know, find whatever it is inside of you that might be connected to your heart, you know, connected to your feelings that you need to kind of forgive yourself for, okay? And again, it's just, we all make mistakes. That's how we learn. Just choose to do better or different next time, okay? So here we have some anxiety with the birds, and we also have a little bit of luck. How interesting is that we've got some anxiety here with a little bit of luck as well, right? This is more often, this card is talking about more like a depressive type feeling. It's associated with grief, but there isn't anything else in here saying like that's mentioning any kind of grief process, you know. I mean, it's not saying that like somebody's going to pass away this week is what I'm trying to say, you know. But you know, it's interesting that we've got some anxiety here with the birds. You might kind of be feeling like other people might be talking about you, or another thing. Okay, I'm just getting this with the moon card. This is a very, very odd and very specific thing, and I promise I'm not even, like, this isn't even coming from me. This is like I feel like I'm hearing it inside of my head, like I need to say this. At night, okay, once the sun goes down, be aware of any kind of things that you hear through any kind of media, like this would be on TV, on your radio, on your you know, your sound system, your, you know, whatever you listen to music through, on your computer, you know, even if like somebody in your family is like a musician, they're playing music or something like that, or if somebody who you live with is just chattering on the phone, pay attention to what you hear, because you're going to be getting a lot of guidance that way. And it can actually ease your anxiety if you pay attention to that. All right, guys? Okay, and then we've got in the flow. Everything is smooth sailing. That's something, you know, that I really think is important to be aware of, given that your emotional side this week looks like it's going to be the most challenging thing. Okay, it just looks like you're going to be feeling a little bit like, I don't know which way things are going, I don't know what to expect, and that kind of thing. Just know that it's working out, it's working itself out, and there is something hidden, something positive that's hidden from you that you will figure out eventually. I mean, you might not figure it out this week, but because it's coming up twice, it really gives me the impression you guys are going to find it. You will. And just understand that it's just not the right time for you to find it yet, but you will very, very soon. And I mean, and again, I really feel like this is one of those things that you're going to figure out very quickly, okay? So just know that things are going the way they're supposed to be going right now. And if you're feeling kind of down and that kind of thing, just know that you're going to come out of it just fine, okay? I'm not getting any, like, major bad things this week for you, okay? I mean, I'm even getting positive things with, like, you know, getting kind of lucky with what you're hearing from around you, you know, getting a little, you know, you have a little bit more positivity in your life than just anxiety, that kind of thing. But, with the Five of Cups, I can see how that would be distressing. So I just want to make sure that I'm being as thorough as possible about, why this came up and what it signifies in this particular reading. All right, guys? It really does look good. It looks like you're going to be doing a lot of introspection this week. Hi, those of you who picked the red, pile number 4. Here is your reading. Okay, so we have you're of two minds for a little while this week. We have something new in your in matters of the heart. I really feel like this is going to be more romantic type stuff, because we also have the happily ever after card here, which is really, really great. You guys, this is a really, really good reading. I'm kind of jealous. Okay, and then you have, oh my gosh, I hadn't even looked at these yet. And then you have the bouquet, which is a gift or it's beauty, okay? And what's supplementing this is, look at that, the heart. That is the most romantic card that you can get from the Lenormand. So you have got romance twice over, and then a small token of romance twice over, okay? That's going to be a big deal for you, okay? And then with, wow, this is crazy. You guys have a great reading. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we've also got overcoming obstacles. You can overcome anything. Look at that. This is your guidance card for the week, okay? This is your, like, what do I need to keep in mind to help get me going? It's that you're gonna overcome, okay? And then the theme of the week is pleasure. Wow. So even though we don't have any rods coming up here talking about, that kind of sexual energy, we still have pleasure. So it is going to be, this looks like you are going to have a great week. And what's really awesome about this is that it's something you're not going to see coming. You might start out the week feeling like this, like you don't know which way to go, what's going to happen, what's coming up, It's almost like, like the water in the background. It's like, not only is this person blindfolded, but the water in the background represents the emotions here. And you have this person that's blindfolded, and they're not even facing their emotions, and they're looking to the sword, to what is typically the cards associated with the mind. They're looking to to try to make sense of things with the mind. But this is saying, wait a minute, you're going to be, something new is going to happen here when it comes to emotions, your emotional life, okay? Where you're going to get something new that's positive. This is basically the cup is overflowing kind of card, okay? So it's very positive. And you have the happily ever card, the happily ever after card, which for me kind of reinforces that this is a positive thing. This is getting you to your goals, right? Here we have another gift, like this, like the Ace of Cups is holding out this gift, this beautiful gift for you, okay, of emotional fulfillment and all of that, right? And then we've got this gift with the bouquet. Now the bouquet in the Lenormand is traditionally associated with gifts, okay? But it can also be associated with beauty, because we have a beautiful arrangement of flowers. In some decks, the flowers are different colors and they go nicely together and that kind of thing. So we also have that aspect of beauty. So something, the way I want to word it is that it might not be a physical gift. It might actually be something beautiful and moving that somebody says to you, something that strikes you and really gets you to your core, okay? And this is going to be something that is either a romantic gesture or something that really stirs your heart, okay? This is most likely going to be a romantic gesture from somebody who's very, very special to you, okay? And again, this whole week, even when you don't know what's happening or what's going to be going on, you're going to feel this kind of uplifting feeling. You're going to be looking to do things that will help you feel happy. It'll help you feel pleasant and pleasurable, okay? And if you get stuck at all this week, You can overcome anything, okay? Anything that comes up that looks like it's going to get in your way of reaching this happily ever after that we're seeing here, it will be overcome, okay? So you have such a great reading that I don't even really want to add anything because, I mean, well, first off, I mean, it's so straightforward. And second, there's really not a whole lot of more intuition I can really say about this. I just want to mention there are water elements here. We've got water with this. We've got water here with this here. Of course, the Ace of Cups is going to have water in it. Even the Cerebral card has water in it. And then, you know, this is more of a hint of water. You know, we've got this beautiful garden. You know, obviously it's you know, it's very, very green and verdant. So of course it's getting enough rain and all of that. And then we have overcoming obstacles. So when things dry up, don't worry, you'll get that water element back. So, you know, and of course flowers need water, right? So really, seriously, it looks so great. Love is going to be a big focus this week for you. So do know that now would be the time, you know, if you have been thinking about starting something new, you know, in your love life, or maybe you've decided that you want to start dating again or something like that. Now would be the time to do that, all right? Okay, this is great. I love this reading for you guys. All right, hi, those of you who picked purple, the fifth pile. Here is your card. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. We've got, oh, this is interesting. We've got the Four of Rods and the Eight of Wands. I love this. Okay, and then we have your main card is Fish, and the supporting card is the Book. That's a really interesting one too here. We've got Expand Your Horizons. Okay, I kind of associate this card with the Fool card in the tarot. It's just kind of about like taking risks, you know, setting out, beginning something new. And then look at this. We've got Opportunity as your major theme this week. Okay, so this whole week, just be looking for things to say yes to, okay? Because you're going to be presented a lot of options. So you'll be able to find a lot of different things to be like, okay, I definitely want to do this. Or you know, people might be inviting you out, and maybe you're like, gosh, I don't usually like to socialize. It's like, it's almost like it's fate. Like you're supposed to go there. You're supposed to be saying yes to these opportunities. And we'll look at that in just a minute after we start with the tarot, okay? So the first card we have is the Wheel of Fortune. This is all about fate. It's all about, you know, everybody goes up and down on the Wheel of Fortune, of course. But the Wheel of Fortune card here is talking about how, you know, you're in a very positive time in your life right now. At least this week is going to be. And you don't need to worry about things that maybe you might have missed out on. Okay, and you don't have to worry about rushing ahead and trying to catch up with whatever it is that you feel like maybe you need to catch up with, because everything's going to happen at really good, almost divine timing this week. I mean, it is going to be divinely timed, but it's like, you know, all the opportunities, like, because this card is very much about a missed opportunity, and this card is very much about kind of rushing into something, right? So when you've got the opportunity as being your theme this week, it's like, don't worry, the opportunities will come to you, okay? And normally I wouldn't say, well, just sit back and wait for things to happen, because it's just not how things work, you know? It's not how we get things done, right? But the Wheel of Fortune is letting us know that you are in a very lucky, very happy, very positive period of your life this week. Opportunities will be coming to you. We've got something that has to do, again, the fish represent money, things that come in groups, you know, but it's positive. Generally it represents money, okay? And the book represents either knowledge, or it can be something that's mysterious, okay? At this point, I really feel like this is like, you're going to get more knowledge on how to make money, okay? Because the spine tends to face the card. Because see, if it was like this, It was all like there's somebody's keeping a secret from you about making money, because the spine would be on the fish, but it's not that way. It's the fish with the book, and since the pages open in that direction, it's like this is going to open up to you an ability to make more money, or this can also have to do with like the pinnacles in tarot. It can just have to do with like material gains. Okay, so it's whatever it is, it's gainful. Okay. And then we've got expand your horizons. Well, you know, your advice is to expand your horizons. Well, if you've got all these opportunities coming to you, and they're all serendipitous, and they're all, you know, very fateful and that kind of stuff. I apologize, my cat is playing with something over there. You know, of course you're going to be expanding your horizons, as long as you say yes, you know. That would be the only thing that I would just say is that, you know, sometimes life offers us all of these really great opportunities, and we don't really want to take them because for whatever reason, maybe we've gotten out of the habit of saying yes for a while or whatever. It's like a quote from, I believe it's Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I don't know if it's from that or not. I have not actually read that book. I tried to, and I just for whatever reason couldn't get into it. But it says something like, the truth comes knocking at the door, at your door, and you open it and you say, go away, I'm looking for the truth. It's kind of like that when you've got an expand your horizons with the opportunity card. It's like opportunities are presenting themselves to you, but you still have to say yes to them. You know, you still have to be aware of them, look out for them, and know they're coming. Okay? And just know that it's like the timing is right this week. Okay? All right, so really great. Really great. All right, hi, those of you who picked the 6 pile, the pink pile. Here is your reading. Okay, so we have the 10 of Wands, we have the Page of Swords, okay, and we have Justice. I'm rearranging them just so the reading will make a little bit more sense, but I do know how they appeared to begin with, okay? You have a message coming, because we have the letter, and we have the child. It's going to be a new message. It might not necessarily be, it could be from a child, but I feel like it's a message, and it's like something new is going to be happening. We'll get to that as well. Let's just kind of lay out all the cards. So your this can be a frustrating answer sometimes, but so your guidance this week is taking shelter. The answers are within. That's where you're going to find them. So we've got that too, and just, you know, inner peace. I just love how these cards are playing off of each other so easily. Inner peace is your theme this week, is to look for inner peace. This is really great. That and the Justice and Page of Swords and this guy, they all make sense now. I'm referring to the person. I'm not referring to you. I understand I have, you know, gender fluid audience. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the tarot. So we've got the Page of Swords. Now, one thing about the Page of Swords is that this is about communication, okay? It's about communication and also the communication of ideas, right? But sometimes the page, because the page represents a younger person, can be a little sloppy. It's like, so yeah, we've got a reference to this card here with the communication, but it's like the communication isn't going to be real mature yet, okay? There is communication, something that somebody's been holding back, okay? They've been kind of trying to keep this passion away, all right? And they've been kind of holding it back, trying to manage it is a better way of putting it. And they're going to need to communicate to you. And so you'll get a new message from them. And it's like, they're going to sound like a new person. It's like that. It's like they're going to sound like a new person, or it's going to sound like something new is happening between the two of you. And it's positive. It's a positive thing. Both of these cards are positive. And with the Justice card coming here, you know, because we had, you know, somebody's holding something back. And then we had the Page of Swords. And then we had Justice, you know. something's been held back. The person's going to start talking because, because they've reached a point where, okay, they want to talk, they want to express themselves, but it's going to come out a little sloppy. It's not going to be perfect, right? But the justice, like, there's going to be a rebalancing between the mind and the heart, right? We've got that kind of like the thoughts represented by the sword, and then the balance represented by the scales. It's like, it's both justice and mercy. It's like, things are really balancing out for you this week, and part of this has to do with this message you're going to be receiving. It doesn't necessarily have to be written. It doesn't have to be a text message or a voicemail or an email or maybe something on Messenger or like an app or maybe a dating site or something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. It doesn't have to be typed out or written. It could be in person. But either way, this is going to give you, some more information, because it really feels like you guys are overdue for information too. I mean, like, I feel like it's thick. Like, this is so light because it's been so difficult for you to get, it's not closure. It's like for you to get, answers. I mean, that's the best way I can put it. Is that inside you'll be able to rearrange, what maybe you've been assuming about the situation or what you've been worried about or whatever, so that you can also see, oh, that makes sense. It wasn't because of this. It wasn't that this person was doing this. It was that this person actually felt this way, and they did that because they felt that way, and that makes sense. That kind of thing. And you'll be able to reach that inner stability. So we've got the Justice card talking about bringing justice to a situation, right? But the Justice card is also being reflected inside of you as well. So you've got the inner peace, the inner balance as well. So this week for you is going to be about communication. Be open and receptive to communication, even if it's like a little sloppy, okay? And I mean, when I say that, I just mean like, somebody opening up about how they feel about someone, okay? That can be very, very scary. So somebody, I'll use an example from my own life because it's kind of funny. When me and my partner first started dating, 15, 16 years ago, I asked him after about a week, not a week, sorry. I asked him about a month, after we had started dating. I was like, so what do you tell your friends? And they're like, so, what's up with your new girlfriend and all of that? Like, what do you tell them about me? And what I was trying to get at was, oh, she's smart, or she's fun, or she's pretty, or, whatever. But he thought that I was asking, how do you feel about me, And he's all like, well, I tell him that she's all right. She's pretty good. And even to this day, I mean, I think it was yesterday that I mentioned it to him. Yes, it was. It was because it was his birthday. I'm filming this on Sunday. His birthday was on Saturday, the 2nd. Yeah, I mentioned to him, well, you're older and everything, and you're still pretty good. You're all right, because, it came out kind of sloppy, but he meant well by it. He meant positive things by it, and thankfully at the time I understood that was his communication style by then. So I wasn't offended or like, what? But I thought it was a silly thing to say. I thought it was funny. And so just understand that maybe you won't hear exactly what you want to hear, like, oh, I love you. I tell them how wonderful you are and all of that. But you will hear that admitting of, like, I like you. I think that she's good. I think she's a good person. And I'm saying that as if I'm Greg, my partner. It's like, yeah, she's good, or he's really, really strong, or he's really this or that, It's like you're going to be hearing some communication that will help you know where you stand with a person that you've been worried about. And since it has to do with holding back this creative and like kind of romantic type feelings and pressure, even though for some of you it might not be a romantic person, I feel like for most of you guys it will be, okay? So keep that in mind. I think that the child still represents kind of like the way it comes out isn't going to be the most maybe mature, but they're trying, that's the thing to keep in mind. All right. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching to the end of my video. I really appreciate it. As always, I just love seeing new subscribers, the comments that you guys leave, the likes, everything lets me know how I'm doing, so I can adjust to make sure that you guys are being taken care of and that what you want is what I'm putting out. Alright? I have a lot of really great reading requests that I'm going to be working on this week. So every day of the week we're going to post a reading that has been requested. Okay, so just know that I'm getting to it. I have it such a long list, you wouldn't believe it. I'm almost thinking that I should like just show you the list, but I'll just go ahead and just try to get as many as possible. Some people have asked the same thing, but just in a little bit different ways. So I'll try to kind of clump some of those together, but we're going to get them out. And, you know, if you like what you see, I do post regularly. Go ahead and subscribe if you want. You know, I don't want to, I'm not trying to fish for subscribers. I'm just saying, you know, I do put out content, so you might want to subscribe. And, I just think everybody is so awesome who's a part of this community. You guys are great. We've hit 20,000 subscribers. I'm thrilled. I'm just really thrilled. All right, guys. I will see you in our next reading.